How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much for watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. So for the most part on this channel, I like to discuss classic movies. That's the main focus of this channel, is to put the spotlight on old films of yesteryear. But every now and then, if I do see a new film that stays with me or I feel like talking about, I am most likely going to talk about it. And that's why I'm here to talk about the new 2022 Jordan Peele film, Nope. The movie that stars Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, Stephen Yeun. You have Keith David and Michael Wincott as well, supporting actors. And I gotta say, I think this is a good movie. I think a lot of people are going to be divided because I think Jordan Peele is now sort of on this high bar for a lot of people. And I'm going to say something that's a little controversial. I got to be completely honest, as someone that loves movies and just loves to talk about movies. Get Out is a movie that I enjoyed when I first watched it. Never felt compelled to watch it again. You know, it's one of those movies that I respected because it was a well-made movie and I had a good time watching it. But it didn't grab me like it did for a lot of people. It just, I don't know. I think that Us actually was a superior movie to that one, and I know that a lot of people feel the opposite. I know that most people weren't happy or as happy with Us as they had been with his directorial debut with Get Out, and uh, so yeah, that is my own humble opinion. I really enjoyed that movie. I even had to buy that one and rewatched a few times just because it really did creep me out quite a bit, and I think if anyone is going to the movies to be creeped out or scared, there might be a few moments where they're going to feel some nice moments of suspense and some nice thrilling moments. Those of you that are out there that are going to the theaters and watching this movie expecting it to be scary, you might be disappointed. And everybody has their own sort of barometers of what is scary to them. You know, some people don't, it doesn't take that much for some people. For some people, you might be a little more desensitized like I am. It might take a lot to get you there. And I think that this movie wasn't meant to be the scariest film of the year. I just think he was trying to make an entertaining movie. And I think he succeeded because this movie has a lot to offer in terms of good characters and a story that actually unfolds at a pretty slow pace in the first half. But once you get to the second half of the movie, it really picks up. And one thing I always enjoy about Jordan Peele's movies is his characters and the way he writes them, particularly the dialogue. I really enjoy the way his characters talk like real people in the real world, and the actors are very good at displaying that and almost making it feel like it's improv sometimes. I am not going to give away any spoiler details about this movie because anyone that wants to go into the theater and enjoy this film should definitely try to go in as cold as possible with knowing as little as possible. But having said that, if you've seen the trailers, most likely you already have the inkling that the plot does center around aliens and our main characters trying to get proof of alien life. And that's an interesting premise, one that could have gone many different ways. And as far as violence goes, there is some in the movie, but it's not anything too gruesome. There is one scene that is bloody that involves sort of a backstory on one of our supporting characters. But even though I understand why the scene is there, I don't really feel that it was needed necessarily because, for example, the movie Jaws, you have the mayor in that movie that is just somebody that everybody in the audience is going to detest just because of the nature of the character. He's there to sort of be, someone to sort of hate on because he's an idiot. Well, we didn't need a backstory about the mayor to understand that. He was just an asshole. So I didn't feel like this movie needed that kind of a sequence, even though it did give the movie some moments of suspense, which is why I don't mind it that much. But overall, the movie didn't really need it that much to be there. But there are some great moments of tension and some nice moments where I caught myself actually saying nope at the same time as our main character, which was, sort of like a Jinx, you owe me a Coke kind of a moment. You know, that I just chuckled when that happened. And I'm pretty sure that was intentional. I'm pretty sure it was written that way. And in that respect, Jordan Peele definitely has a great feel for setting a mood and knowing what the audience is going to think and what they're feeling and knowing how to manipulate the audience. He's very clever, and he's obviously seen a lot of films enough to be aware of that and to understand how that works. So people that are expecting something that's going to give them a thrill, something that's going to give them a little, spectacle, depending on what they're looking for, they might find it here. Some people might not, because some people might be looking for a straight up scary movie that's gonna have some gore and a lot of blood. And if that's what you're looking for, this ain't it. So some people might be disappointed if that is what's sort of going through their head as far as preconceived notions. And I try not to have any when I go into a film. I try to sort of go in with a blank slate and just try to absorb whatever the screen is throwing at me. And because this was a Jordan Peele movie, I gotta say, even though I enjoyed it, even though I thought it was a good time, I was disappointed a little bit, just because his previous film did creep me out a lot more than this one. Daniel Kaluuya, he did a great job in playing this serious, stoic, sort of uh, tough guy, yeah, quiet, silent type, and I really wasn't sure if he could pull off that kind of a role until watching this movie, and I expect to see him in more roles like this now, just because he did such a good job, and I think that he's going to surprise a lot of people with the way he played this character, even though we're used to seeing him as more of a down-to-earth people person. He's not really much of a social guy or people person in this one. He's sort of standoffish and sort of quiet, and the only time he really opens up and he sort of himself is with his sister, played by Keke Palmer, who also does an outstanding job. And she really feels like the heartbeat of the movie. She has more to do. I also really liked and enjoyed the brother and sister relationship between Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya. They actually felt like real siblings at times, the way they talk to each other, the way they sort of throw little jabs at one another. It really did feel like a brother and sister on the screen that wasn't doing any acting, just sort of living in front of you. And that's one of the best compliments that I can give any movie, is when you feel like you're watching real people just sort of living. And that's something that I think most actors need to strive for when it comes to performance. And this movie has some really solid acting by our two main leads. I gotta give them all the credit in the world for that. And as far as the effects go, the effects are pretty good, even though when it comes to something that is supposed to be sort of a main reveal towards the third act, when it comes to what has to do with the whole alien premise, that I am not going to talk about. I want people to sort of experience that for themselves. But the design for that was something I did not expect, and think it's going to throw some people off. And some people might even be turned off by it. Some people might actually enjoy it. Me personally, I thought it was different and kind of refreshing. And the effects that were done with that, I was impressed. At the same time, a little underwhelmed, just because it was so simple. And sometimes simplicity can be the best way to go, but the way that this was dealt with at the end, that was what was a little underwhelming. So the end did sort of disappoint in that regard. It was also really cool to see Keith David on the screen in a new film. He's one of those actors that I wish got more work. He's one of those great character actors that used to pop up in films back in the day. He was in Dead Presidents. He was in a comedy that I love from the early 90s, Men at Work. Of course, he was in the Oliver Stone war masterpiece from 1986, Platoon. And I remember he was the villain in The Princess and the Frog. And of course, nobody can forget him in There's Something About Mary, in that great scene at the beginning of the film with Ben Stiller in the bathroom. What you do, boy? You shit yourself? We all know he didn't shit himself. Anyone who's seen that movie. It was a lot worse than that. But yeah, Keith David, he's great. He's always really fun to see in a movie. And yeah, Steven Yeun did a great job. All the actors in this film were great, and a really solid screenplay. The first half is a slow burn, but it picks up, like I said, towards the end. And yeah, overall, I enjoyed this movie, and I would watch it again. I gotta admit, because his last movie did creep me out, and I was expecting to sort of go through that same kind of experience with this film, it didn't really do that for me. It had some nice suspenseful moments, but didn't give me the creep factor like his last film. So that's why I was a tad disappointed with this one. But it's still a good time. It's still very enjoyable. It's still a very well-made film. And yeah, 3 stars all the way. It's a good movie. So that's going to be it for this review. And thank you very much for watching. Those of you that are new to the channel, please hit that bell and subscribe, and look out for notifications on more reviews. For the most part, I talk about old films, classic movies, movies from 30s, 40s on up. But every now and then, if I see a new film, if I enjoy it or just feel the need to talk about it, I'm most likely going to do that. And yeah, please let me know in the comment section what you think about this movie. Please try not to spoil it for others. And please like, share, and look out for the next one. So thank you very much, and take care of each other, and God bless. Peace out.